Vitality is our ability to have spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical bliss. Some call it paradise. We call it a game.
Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your host, femininity coach and author of The Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So right now, what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about regretting being a 304. And I'm going to play a part of that Andrew Tate and Brittany Renner panel that Just Pearly Things hosted. Shout out to Just Pearly Things. And I'm going to allow it to play out. She's asking, what about her? Like women like her who have, been a 304. What do they do going forward in like relationships and how men perceive them and things of that nature. I'm going to go ahead and let that play so you guys can hear and see what his response is, because he's going to say something very key that's very simple that a lot of women want to act like they don't understand that, and now they're bewildered, and I don't really buy it. But we're going to come back and talk about why not. So give me just a moment. Let me go ahead and share, and I'm going to let it play from here.
About myself. I'm 30, single, mom. My fucking checkered past is all over Instagram. You know what I mean? I have people like you who are, she's a hoe, she's literally known for this. Okay. So what would be your advice to people like me then?
But I don't believe in grey area. I believe black and white. So
okay, well, that's unfortunate because there's gray.
I don't believe in grey area.
There's gray. There's gray in life.
You know what? To answer, wait, I'm going to answer.
I
mean, I just think there's consequences for your decisions, and I just think like my best advice would be to like lower your standards, like that, because I just think there's going to be consequences for putting promiscuous stuff on the internet.
Okay.
And you probably won't get the type of guy that you could have got at 22.
Do you know what, sister?
It wasn't meant to be then.
Do you know what I'll tell you? I would say, because I'm 30 and I'm single out of a situation that actually is not because I'm.
Now I'm going to pause and I'm actually going to move forward, because her response, Brittany's response to what Just Pearl said, means that she has not learned the lesson that she's trying to convince everybody that she has learned. Pearl said lower your standards a little bit because you probably can't get the man now that you could have got at 21 or 22. And it's not just about age. That's about 8 years less of bodies, men, trauma, experiences, blah, blah, blah. And Brittany's response was, nah, I'm not about to lower no standard. Like, I'm not about to, I want what I want. That meant I want what I want. I'm gonna try to get it anyway. And even though I'm going around on these platforms and giving interviews and things of that nature and talking about how I'm taking accountability for the things that I've done and the decisions that I've made, the reality is that I'm still got one foot in this delusional world where I still think that I can pull that guy. There's still a possibility rather than the probability. Shout out to Chantel Simone that talks about the possibility versus the probabilities. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward to when Andrew starts talking.
I was a hoe and I was doing whatever. People can make a difference.
Yes, the world's not fair, but that's the difference between the masculine and the feminine.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've been through a lot. I've been through a lot. I'm seen as used goods. You're seen as a high value man.
Yep.
So if you're me, then what? What's next?
Yeah, it's really interesting. And it's interesting you make that observation, and you are correct. That's the difference between the masculine and the feminine. It's unfair, I guess. The world's not fair, but that's the difference between the masculine and the feminine. Men are respected for going through things and surviving, and women are the complete opposite. They're shamed for going through things and surviving. If you look at women love scars on men for a reason. He's gone through something.
They're war wounds.
Yeah, the war. Men don't want a chick covered in scars. I'll say this right now, that a woman, the more trauma she goes through, the more masculine she naturally becomes. And if you were to give me my ideal woman, I would not want of wanted her to have a hard life and a bunch of trauma. I like the idea of her having a soft feminine life and being a soft person, and I can take care of her and protect her. Whereas as a man, to be a good man, you need to have been through a bunch of trauma, because if you haven't been through trauma as a man, you're a weakling. You have to have been through a bunch of shit. So the masculine, the feminine is a very interesting point there. As for...
And that's all that we need. I'm going to stop sharing. All that I needed you all to hear. Very important points. She's wondering, okay, I get shamed for going through what I've gone through. You get applauded for it. It's different. It's different. Very different. And this is sort of the disingenuousness of the 304s. Because y'all don't like, those of you who are 304s, you don't like it that the double standard exists. After you've done all of this whole stuff and been proud of it and liked it and want the world to accept it and all that kind of stuff, then you get to a point in your life where you realize the world isn't going to accept it. You're still looked down upon. You're still viewed a certain way. You're still perceived a certain way. People receive you a certain way. People treat you a certain way, and things of that nature based on your sexual history and based on the things that you have done publicly that you didn't appear to be ashamed of and things of that nature. Now you get to a point where you want to try to figure out what to do, or have pity on me because I've gone through something. You didn't go through anything and survive it. You didn't survive your whole phase. You initiated it. And I'm tired of women acting like it was something that they had to do to learn life. So how dare anybody shame them for it? No, that is not the case. That's not the case at all. You all prefer to be whores. Listen, let me tell y'all something. It's not something y'all going through. Women intrinsically understand that we are not to be hoeing. Women know that. Women know inside of ourselves without nobody never telling us. We know that sleeping with a bunch of dudes lowers our value in the eyes of those men. We feel it in our heart. We feel it. That's why even when y'all hoeing, in the thick of y'all hoeing, y'all be having me and you regret. Like, man, I shouldn't have slept with him. Man, I shouldn't have been in that situation. Man, I shouldn't have gave him the time of day. Man, I shouldn't have. Why? Because women gatekeep sex. We're the ones that get to tell men who they can have sex with and who they can't have sex with. We get to say that. That is our job. And we let the floodgates open. And we know that in order to be a good gatekeeper, you cannot let everybody through the gate. Because if you let everybody through the gate, what's the point of the gate and the gatekeeper? Everybody can't come in. That's the whole point of gatekeeping, because there must be requirements, there must be standards, there must be things that qualify you and things that disqualify you from having sex on a biological level. Just like he had said earlier, how is it that women get caught up sleeping with men they don't like, men they don't respect, being in relationships with men they don't respect? It should never happen, because how did we get into a relationship with a man that we never respected? How did he get access? How did he get access to us? If we never liked him, we never respected him, he was never no good, how did he get access to me? I let him have access. Well, now why? Because these are the decisions that I wanted to make. Society, you let society tell you that you can go through life like a man. He made a good point. He's like, the more sexual partners and traumas you've been through, the more masculine you are. This is why Black women are masculine like this. Not because your life was so hard growing up as a kid, you had to do. That's the excuse. Oh, we masculine because we got to take care of ourselves. No, you masculine because you're whoring around. It actually make you hard as a woman. It hardens you. Being with a bunch of men just off GP is a trauma in and of itself. And a lot of women like to cap and say, well, the only reason I'm hoeing like this is because of some other trauma that happened to me before. That may be true in some cases. That's not true in everybody's case. You hoeing because you allowed society to tell you that it was okay for you to do that and that society wouldn't judge you for it. That's why you're doing it. And then you get to a point like Brittany got to realize that society really does judge you. And not only does society judge you as a whole, the men that you meet, they all view you in that same kind of way. Now they just want to clap cheeks. Why? Because that has been your value. That has been who you are. You've approached sex in a transactional way for too long. Too long. Now they can't get the emotional connection out of you now. Too much trauma to go through with you. Okay? You took too many D's. Too many. There is a such thing as too many. The more you do, the more masculine you become as a woman. It changes your energy. That transactional sex, oh, I'm just having fun, blah, 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 blah. Women were never, we are not biologically, physically, nor psychologically equipped to have multiple sexual partners through our lifetime back to back like that. Just hundreds of partners. We were not designed for that. We psychologically, we can't deal with it. That's where the masculinity comes from, because that masculine energy protects, and we be trying to protect ourselves psychologically, but we're also we're hurting ourselves and trying to give ourselves the medicine at the same time, and it don't work. Going from man to man causes the trauma. It causes it. It's not always a result of trauma. You create trauma. Like he said, men don't like women with scars. And that's what all them bodies become. Each body a scar on you. Don't no man find no woman sexy when she take her clothes off and her body is riddled with a cut here, bullet wound here, scar. Your life too hard. Your life too hard. Where you get all them scars from? Because what that tells him is, I got too much work cut out for me, taking you from this hard place into this soft place. You may not ever be able to do that transition. That's why hoes don't become housewives. That's why men of a certain caliber and a certain understanding, they never try to take a whore and make her a housewife, because it's too much work. She get too many scars. Too many. She wore herself out. She used herself up. She allowed it. And I don't know why y'all women want to act like this is some type of external thing that somebody forces on y'all. We know as women, stop the cap. You got to stop the cap right now. We know as women, as little girls, we know. As little girls. Just like boys know that in order to be valued, they got to be useful. And they know that when they little. Girls understand that sleeping with a bunch of men or letting a bunch of boys touch you or letting a bunch of boys or being known for that lower your value. We know that as school girls. We know that as school age girls. So for y'all to get up grown and act like you didn't find that out until you was 36, cap. You're a liar. You knew exactly what you were doing, and you knew you were lowering your value. I didn't know my worth and my value. You knew you were lowering it. You may not have understood the height of how high your value could have been, but you knew you was putting it in the trash for each man you let into you. That was not your husband, that was not committed to you, that was just a transaction. You knew that. You knew that. That's why you lie about your body count. That's why you lie and say that you was with this one and you wasn't with that one and this, that, and the third. That's why you do that, because you intrinsically understand that the more men you allow to enter into you sexually, the lower your intrinsic and inherent value as a woman become. You know that already. So it's cap. Anyway, what's not capped is the fact that you can now go to thecrimsoncure.com and you can pick up your copy of Reclaiming the Black Feminine, The Lies of Feminism and the Road to Recovery. You can go to crimsoncure.com. The link is in the description box and make your purchase. Please be aware that the book is not yet shipped. So we are still, I'm going to be giving everybody updates as to when you guys can expect the shipping timeline after we get and correct the revisions that we have to make and make this a really, really awesome, powerful work for you guys and deliver to you excellence in the form of this book. But you can still go into the description box and hit the link for this purchase at crimsoncure.com. Okay. We also still, if you want to participate in the petition that we have against Black Lives Matter, holding them accountable for their misuse of donated funds, the link to that petition is also in the description box as well. And also jump down into the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.
Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A-Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.